we were talking about funnels.
Funnels.
Or everybody was talking about funnels, right?
Yeah.
It's just that Russell Brunson came along and crafted a marketing game plan where he solidified his positioning as like the funnel king.
Yeah, it's like when somebody talks about funnels now, like you think, oh, I go click funnels.
Yeah.
That's where I go to make my funnels.
Yeah.
But I'm like, well, it's just
that's just one tool.
Build it.
Yeah.
You can just do it. You don't need ClickFunnels. Before we jump into this episode, please subscribe to this podcast, hit that notification bell if you're on YouTube, and after a listen, please give us a thumbs up, like, and share, if we've earned it. With your help, we can reach more people and deliver these valuable From the Trenches lessons to those that need it. Enjoy the episode. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another The Builders. Today we are joined by Daniel Den. Welcome to the show, Daniel.
Hey, thank you so much, Matt Levenhagen. I'm so excited to be here.
Wow. You did a good job pronouncing my name.
Thank you.
It's like you've been practicing or something.
I was practicing, yes.
Awesome. No, so Daniel, well, first of all, I know you're an author because for the first time ever, I've actually read a guest book.
Wow!
Right here,
man.
Look at it. I got it broken in.
I'm really flattered. I'm like super flattered because both you and I, we were talking about our Warrior Forum days, and so mad respect for anybody who 10 years ago was hanging out on the Warrior Forum. So there you go.
Longer than that, like 20 years ago.
Yeah. yeah.
The time flies.
The time flies.
Yeah. That's a whole. Yeah, if anybody listening to this, like, what is the Warrior Forum? It was this like marketing forum that's ancient.
Yeah, it was like Facebook for marketers.
Yeah, it was amazing. I got a lot of business out of that place. Did what we called Warrior Special Offers, WSOs.
Yeah,
did a lot of that for a number of years, and knew Alan Sage was running the place at the time. He's since sold it, but that forum actually went back to the 90s. Anyway, we digress.
Yeah.
But you do that. You obviously teach people about marketing. But why don't you tell us a little bit what you do before we dig into your story and stuff?
Right. So, I mean, at the end of the day, there's a lot of noise here in 2024. There was a lot of noise back in the Warrior Forum days, but there's a recent Forbes article that says we're exposed to about 4,000 to 10,000 marketing pieces every day, 4,000 to 10,000 different ads, which is just insane. So the question is, how do we break through the noise? And our thing is all about breaking through the noise through a methodology that we call the X Factor effect, which is all about doing things differently. So we help people break through the noise by doing things differently.
Well said.
Thank you.
I couldn't have said it better myself. The X Factor effect. So when I have somebody on the podcast for the first time, I like to kind of hear about your story, as the audience does too, hopefully.
Yeah.
Get to know you a little bit, see how you became an entrepreneur, like what that journey looked like, got into business and all that, who influenced you, how you ended up, landing where you are today, impacting lives, doing amazing things in the world. So with that, I'm going to kind of hand it over to you if you want to just kind of tell us your background and story, your origin story.
Well, I, like so many others, discovered that I was an entrepreneur. The reason why was because, I, as a kid, wasn't given anything, and I was always told, oh, if you want, you got to go out and earn it. I was like, all right, so I need to make money. So I started thinking of all these ways to make money as a kid. So I was the type of kid that would walk around the neighborhoods, knock on everybody's doors, and ask to mow their lawns, and whatever I could to make money. I even, because I was trustworthy, I even got asked to babysit, which typically, not trying to stereotype here, but typically that's,
that's what the sisters do.
Yeah, you're asking the young women to do that. But I, as a young man, was asked to babysit multiple times because I was that type of guy that was, trusted. And that served me well moving forward. And, went to college, and, in college, I was basically like, I just gotta go out and do my own thing. So I started being entrepreneurial in college. Fast forward to this magical thing that we call the internet, and I finally had like my really big breakthrough on the internet around 2009. And in 2009, this leads into the whole differentiation story. I kid you not, I have verified this multiple times, I invented the car insurance advertorial. Advertorial, for those of you listening, you're like, what the heck's an advertorial? So in the newspaper days, advertorials were articles that would sell something. And on the internet, advertorials still exist. They are basically articles masked as a sales pitch. And so I invented the car insurance advertorial. And wow. I started selling as an affiliate marketer. Lots and lots of insurance. And I would buy the traffic, and I would, send all this traffic to the website. I got to the point where I was on many days making $1,000 profit per day. And I was starting to plan my retirement based off of my
like if it keeps going in this direction.
My first big home run. I'm like, I've made it in life. I have a website making at times $1,000 profit per day. I have made it big. And so that was my false belief, of course. You know where this is headed. So for the first 6 months with this website, nobody was touching me. I was the only person, and it was incredible. And then around the 6-month mark, believe it or not, which it's the internet, so of course we believe it, somebody completely ripped off my website. Like, just cloned it. Like, boom, like word for word, the same thing, like just, and then they put in their links instead of mine. And they started driving traffic to it. I'm like, wow.
That was a whole thing being taught back then, how to like swipe somebody's whole thing.
Yeah.
Harry, if you want a shortcut, you just go over, that guy's doing well, we can see his stats, he's doing all right.
There's still
Let's
tools
just copy the whole thing.
There's still tools that teach that. If like the affiliate marketing world's just cutthroat like that. It's like, oh look, let's spy on which websites are driving the traffic, and let's see who's making the money, and just hit this button, and you can now it's a click of the button, and you just clone the website, which is insane. So anyway,
it's insane.
That first copycat competitor didn't really affect my traffic, but by the time I had like 50 people who had ripped off my website, then I was really feeling it, and I was able to keep running that traffic and be profitable for a while, but I got to the point where eventually one day I woke up and was like, all right, time to move on. Now that transitioned me into this predicament. If you do something different, sometimes copycat competitors just completely rip you off and copy exactly what you're doing. So I started working with my business partner, the co-author of Ideas That Influence, Pedro Superti, down in Brazil, actually. And down in Brazil, they also have this problem of copycat competition. And we started to develop ways so that people could get to the point where they became uncopyable inside of their industries. And for the past 12 years, that's what we've helped people to do through our X Factor Effect methodology. Now, the short answer to, okay, how am I going to be uncopyable is this. It's not one difference that makes a difference, that makes you uncopyable. For example, if I have this amazing unique selling proposition, this amazing guarantee, whatever it is, or this amazing ad copy, that's really easy to copy. Like, okay, look, that guy's headline is working. Let me test that out in an ad. Super easy to copy, right? So what we teach is you want to start to stack your differences that make a difference. And we have 9 different pillars with our X Factor Effect methodology. And we help people stack those differences that make a difference. And once you've stacked 3, 4, 5 big ways that your business is different, then you get to the point where you become a unicorn inside of your niche market. And if somebody was going to copy every single one of your differences that make a difference, then it starts to become super obvious and laughable. And the barrier of entry in order to do that also becomes really, really high. So we got to the point where we truly did help people become unicorns inside of their markets. We helped them start become market leaders and category kings and category queens because they became uncopyable, quote unquote.
I love that. Yeah. And you're right. There's a lot of things, like you said, back in the day where we would all do a lot of things. It was kind of hard to, if you were doing well, someone was going to notice, and they're going to,
Yeah.
and if it's only a sales page that they have to change and drive and steal your traffic, they can do it.
Yeah, too easy.
But yeah, I mean, and so what is so differentiating yourself in 9 different ways, you said?
Yeah.
So
the book, Ideas and Influence, that's just one of the pillars, actually. We have 9 different pillars for differentiating your business.
And so in the book starts with, we're talking about kind of your messaging or your microphone message, you call it?
Yeah. So that specifically is all about your messaging. And inside of the book, we talk about crafting a unique marketing message that breaks through the noise. And we talk about ways in order to do that as well so that it's less copyable. But, at the end of the day, it all depends on what you're doing. One of my favorite examples in the book is when Listerine, back in the 1920s, when they completely owned the word halitosis and bad breath. So Listerine was the cure for bad breath. It was the cure for halitosis. They discovered this term inside of a medical journal. And what happened was they owned that word, they owned that phrase inside of the minds of their dream customers so well that when their competition started to say, oh, our mouthwash is also the cure for bad breath, then those mouthwash brands inadvertently started selling more Listerine because the market, they, in their minds, thought that Listerine was the cure for bad breath. And so there was market confusion with the marketing message. And we can see that. I think listeners can kind of understand this happening a little bit here in 2024 with what Russell Brunson has been able to do with the term funnels. Funnel builders, you're one funnel away, click funnels, all that. In a way, Russell Brunson has owned the word funnels in the minds of his dream customers, even though back in the Warrior Forum days, we were talking about funnels. Or everybody was talking about funnels, right?
Yeah.
It's just that Russell Brunson came along and crafted a marketing game plan where he solidified his positioning as like the funnel king.
Yeah, it's like when somebody talks about funnels now, like you think, oh, I go click funnels.
Yeah.
That's where I go to make my funnels.
Yeah.
But I'm like, well, it's just
that's just one tool.
Build it.
Yeah.
You can just do it. You don't need click funnels.
Yeah. You don't need click funnels. WordPress works just fine, right, Matt?
or we even, I have a certain client where we actually, they start on ClickFunnels and then we translate those pages to like Bootstrap or whatever because there's more they want to do with them. But it's really just pages in a series.
Pages in a series
that do some kind of action, capture, do other things. But yeah, so yeah, that's totally true.
Yeah, and then conceptually, I talk to customers all the time where they're like, "Oh yeah, I need to build a funnel," but they're already in business and they already have customers. And then I'm like, you realize you already have a funnel, right?
You kind of do.
Yeah. So marketing, attract the leads, sell your, whatever your entry level product is, and then sell.
I mean, those tools like ClickFunnels make it easier. It's all there and it's plug and play, right?
Yeah.
They have all the components there for you, but you can build those components. and maybe even better.
Yeah.
So,
Depending on what type of customization you need, for sure. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I mean that's what you're like. Even like in just visualizing a funnel, like it's a funnel. Like you're
Yeah.
taking people from the top and you're funneling them into your whatever it is you do, and you capture that traffic.
Exactly.
And then you move them into their freebies, and then they pay a little bit more, and until they pay for your high end stuff. Yeah.
But the point here is what we, as seasoned marketers, we come into contact with certain clients where they're like, oh yeah, funnels, Russell Brunson, ClickFunnels. And we're like, whoa, hold on. So yes, and so it's the same thing with the Listerine story. So the question for Ideas That Influence is, can we get to the point with our marketing message where we have a marketing message that breaks through the noise, and it gets to the point where it becomes a unique identifier inside of our brand, where our dream customers, they're recognizing us for certain aspects of our marketing message. And when we can get to that level, then as long as you can maintain that positioning, and then this gets into really high level, business strategy. If you've read the books on positioning and repositioning, but as long as you can maintain that positioning, then you win. But you can lose your positioning if you fail with your marketing campaigns. If you stop. So, for example, Secret, the deodorant for women, it was the first brand of deodorant for women. And they have been able to maintain that positioning for many, many years. Now, do they have competition? Yes. But Secret still has one of the top-selling deodorants for women in the world because they've been able to maintain their positioning over the decades, even amongst big competition, because there's a lot of money in health and beauty.
And by the way, guys, gals, whoever's listening to this, I mean, this is one of the things I really liked about this book, is there's so many stories in there. You have stories about so many different brands, and just kind of and connect it to what you're talking about in there. It's fun to watch. It's fun to read. I actually want to go back and read some of those again. It's so interesting to learn more about those companies. So there's two things that are kind of sticking out here, for me, that I'd like to dig into. We're just going forward here. So the first one is, well, how does they typically, and now obviously people have read your books, you've helped actually regulars, unknown companies out there do this kind of stuff and create their messaging or their, what you call a microphone message. Where does one start? Is that something that, like for me, as my agency, as we've been doing this agency for 5+ years, my messaging kind of changed a lot in the first few years. I didn't know really what our identity was yet. And then I kind of settled into it as I was listening and working with other agencies and working with other clients, and realized, oh, this is actually what we do. This is what our messaging needs to be, and to set us apart. We have the foundation to deliver on that. But this is how we're going to show up, and how I'm actually releasing a new lead magnet, and it's going to tie into all of that messaging and kind of, that's part of the funnel, right?
Right.
It's going to come in, and they'll eventually be my clients. But how does one get started with that though? What is the typical story? Like if somebody has a small business, like, I know I sell XYZ, but I don't really have a message.
Right. Well, action brings clarity, first of all. So theoretically, you could start anywhere, but we do point people in, like when they ask, well, okay, where do I start? The right answer, and you've talked about them multiple times here on the Builders Podcast, is we do have to start with the avatar. So one of the 7 elements that we teach inside of Ideas That Influence, one of those elements is that you need to put your audience center stage. You need to make your marketing message all about your dream customers. And if you haven't dialed in who your dream customer is yet, you might be in the exploratory phase when it comes to your avatar, and that is okay. You might, start out, let's say you own a web design company and your first customer is a gym owner. Great. You get really good really fast at building websites for gym owners, and you realize that it's an okay avatar. Except that a lot of these gyms go out of business way too fast because they haven't been listening to Alex Hormozi's advice. Right. And then you say, okay, wait. So gym owners, okay, that is an avatar. Should we put our whole messaging around that avatar, or should we play around with other avatars? At the end of the day, and during that exploratory phase, you want to dial in your dream customers, your main avatars, as fast as possible, and you want it to be a perfect marriage between the avatar that you want to work with and an avatar that wants to work with you. And once you've dialed that in, then that's the main catalyst for building the rest of the marketing message.
That makes a lot of sense. I like when you're using the word exploratory, because really, you might have an idea of what you're doing when you go into a business, like what you sell and stuff, but you may have to explore and figure out, especially in my business, we can have any kind of client, any kind of industry, from other digital marketing companies to physical e-commerce stores to health and beauty to some other industry. And like for me, it just, in the beginning, it was just take whatever I could because I wanted to make money and get going, get the experience. But I started to realize through that experimentation or just attracting different types of business that, wait, I really connect with this particular vertical here. Like I understand them. And maybe part of this is my marketing background, like I understand marketing, I understand what they're trying to do and what their needs are, and then listening to their pain points. And then you start to be like, okay, well, maybe my message should revolve around that. Maybe I should figure that out. So define what a microphone message is a little bit.
Yeah.
How do you define
conceptually, it's that message that breaks through the noise. But I like to give the analogy of, if you were in a networking meeting, and let's say you're in a networking meeting with 20 people, and everybody has 1 minute, okay? So they pass the mic to me, Daniel Din, and then pass the mic to Matt, and then to Sally, then to John. Okay. Out of those 20, usually there's going to be one where it's like, oh, hold on. Did you guys hear that? That was good. Like,
that was solid.
Let's give the microphone back to, let's be honest, it was Sally. It wasn't Daniel or Matt. Let's give the microphone back to Sally, because we want to hear more. Now, your microphone message, your winning marketing message that breaks through the noise, it is that message that has that effect where when your dream customers hear your message or see your message through your marketing campaigns, they sit up and they say, whoa, wait a second. I want to hear more. Like that caught my interest. And if we're being honest with ourselves, most marketing messages fall flat on their face, and they get drowned in the sea of sameness, and they get drowned amongst the thousands and thousands of advertisements and marketing pieces that people are exposed to every single day. And so we want to avoid getting caught up in that sea of sameness, and we want to avoid being caught up in the noise. And that is what we define as your microphone message. It's that winning message where it's like, hey, let's give the mic back to that person and let's hear more.
That's a nice way of looking at it. So to find that message, you mentioned the word testing. That you have to test it. Like you said, if you're in a room networking with 20 people and another 20 people and 100 people, and you keep trying things, trying and see what resonates until somebody finally hands you that microphone? Is that the process, or is there some magical formula to craft your message?
Ooh, great question. I think this feels like it's a toss up. Woo, woo. Thank you, Matt. Yes, there is a magic formula. Now, as marketers, the real answer is what? You have to test. But at the same time, people don't like that answer. And so there is another answer. Now, the other answer is, inside of Ideas and Influence, we've determined and we've pinpointed 7 elements for winning microphone messages. And in the book, we encourage you to come up with your ideas, brainstorm by yourself and with your team, and put all the ideas out that are on the table. And then if you can identify a marketing message or an idea for a marketing message that includes all 7 of these elements, we personally have not seen a message contain all 7 of these elements and not break through the noise. I'm not saying it.
Boom.
I'm not saying it hasn't happened.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, if you have all 7 of these elements inside of your marketing message, there is a very, 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 very big chance that your message is going to really resonate with your dream customers, and you could have a goldmine opportunity with your marketing message.
That's awesome. So can you share 1 or 2 of those? We don't have to share all 7 because we want them to read the book.
Yeah, of course. We did mention one of them. You have to put your audience center stage. Now, that's the one all about avatar. The concept there is the message needs to be about them. So don't fall into the trap. You've heard it a million times. Don't make it about yourself. Make it about your dream customer. So put the audience center stage. The second one we kind of already mentioned as well, because we talked about the X factor effect. We want to make sure that our message is different. We say that different is the new better. In other words, in 2024, quality isn't really a differentiator. Quality is expected. If you hire Matt to create your website, you expect a quality website. If you hire any agency to create your website, you expect a quality website. So you're looking for an X factor in some way, shape, or form. An X factor inside of your product or your service or inside of your marketing message. So maybe Matt, for example, is maybe his X factor for his web design services are that as a unique selling proposition, because people absolutely hate writing copy, maybe he includes all the copywriting as part of the service. And maybe that's the big USP, the big difference that makes a difference to his customers. Or maybe Matt has this amazing promise where he can get the beta version of your website done for you in the first 24 business hours. Or maybe he's differentiated his design and web agency in a way because all of the logos are included. Or maybe he's got something else that is a really cool USP. I listened to a recent episode of The Builders where the way they differentiate is inside of their marketing message, they talk about the fact that the websites they built for you, they build it in a way that your website is like a good employee inside of your business, which I absolutely love.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And they use the example of bad employees and good employees. You want a good employee as your website because a broken employee is like a broken website.
It's gonna be people are gonna be coming in the door and they're gonna be turning around and heading right back out.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's a great episode, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, so to interject here, so do you know when you're in internet marketing circles, you must have known of James Jones. You know him? He was internet marketer.
Maybe.
He's around.
Maybe.
He's around.
Yeah.
He's been around. I don't know what he's doing these days. I've been around for too long, so some of these people may have who knows where they are in the world. But or if they're even still around.
Yeah, I've got this book. This was like Success Secrets of the Online Marketing Superstars by Mitch Meyerson. And there's people like one day I was like, I'm gonna see if these people that I read about, because I tore this book apart. Like this helped me so much back in the day. But I was like, I'm gonna Google these people. And so there's Robert Allen in there. There's Yannick Silver. There's a lot of names that you recognize, and then there's people that are like, who the heck is that? Like, does this person exist? Like Joe Vitale, obviously still around, but like there's some people that's just like they completely fell off the face of the planet.
And some are more under the radar. James Jones is actually he was really successful and probably still is. I don't know what he's doing. But anyway, my point is bringing him up. Is I was actually working with some other internet marketers, and we had a product we wanted to. We were seeking partners to promote it, and this particular product was still kind of in its early stages. Really didn't have a good. We didn't have a good message yet, But I remember, and this is something that you just said, like I remember him, I remember talking to him and being like, we're going to have the best customer support our customer support is going to be like no other. Like we're going to have the best. He's like, I can't sell. He was a big affiliate marketer. He was like, I can't sell customer support. We need something else.
Yeah.
We never ended up doing anything with him. He was not sold on the idea at all. He was like, well, I can get something similar to what you have here for free over here. Why am I buying from you? But yeah, so it was really interesting. But that so finding that something that differentiates you, I think is really at the core of it, isn't it? It's like, because I think about why, like I'm in a market, obviously there's tens, if not hundreds of thousands of agencies out there selling stuff, many selling the same exact things we're doing. Like, why do I get business? And it's because the way I position myself, like who I am.
Yeah.
Like what do I bring to the table that's different from everybody else? And I mean, that's something I think everyone needs to look for.
Yeah, I mean, at least like you're at least with your podcast, amazing podcast, absolutely love it.
Thank you.
You share so many stories, and your guests share so many stories. So when it comes to your marketing message, so another one of the elements that we teach inside of Ideas and Influence is you want to make sure that marketing message shares a story or shares multiple stories that resonate with your dream customers. And as a part of the marketing message today in 2024, that is one of the ways we beat AI. Because let's be honest, some of those prompts are amazing, but they spit out some very mundane answers that you can get by reading anybody that's, bullet pointing off a list of facts. It's like I heard somebody say, using AI to write your content is like, paying somebody to write professional essays for you. Okay. Who wants to read a bunch of professional essays, right?
Not at all.
Now, stories and Matt's stories, and I don't know how many stories we've already shared in the past 30 minutes, but we've shared at least 10 interesting, side note stories that, AI would not have been able to recreate our conversation. There's no way, because these stories came from, a lot of them at least, came from personal experience.
Absolutely. 100%. Yeah. And I think that's, and obviously you can't put the cart before the horse. You got to have experience. You have to actually have had the experiences. You put yourself into a position where you have to make stuff up until you fake it until you make it. Just make up stories, but they should be genuine. And I think that's, every business is different. It depends on what you're selling. Like, I'm selling obviously to clients and any other agencies and convincing them to work with me, but a lot of those deals are done because I genuinely can speak to their problems and I share examples of how we may have fixed that for somebody else.
Yeah.
It's all those things together, which I think is really, really good. So, all right, so we have so one of the other things is maybe a little bit of a pivot. You were at one point in the book, you were talking about strategy and you were talking about building relationships. How does that fit into all this? Because I talk about that because relationships are kind of my bread and butter.
Yeah.
In my business.
Yeah. We have a whole chapter in the book calling "How to Avoid the Realm of Rejection." I did a really fun social experiment. Oh my goodness, am I going to share a story? Yes, I am. It was one of my funnest.
You're in the right place. We never get tired of stories here. Keep going.
Copy this story, AI. I dare you. So I personally went down to Las Vegas with my brother-in-law, and I pulled from my bank account $110 bills. Okay, I said, Jerry, we're going to do this social experiment. You're going to film me. I predict very few people will take my $10 bill when I offer it to them, and we're going to see how, out of the 100, how many get given away. Okay. And Jared's like, you're crazy. No, like at least, he literally thought like all my money was going to be gone. Like, who wouldn't take a free $10 bill on the Las Vegas Strip? Well, so I go and you know, he's filming from a distance, so it's not awkward. But my approach was this, Matt. I said, hey, and I extend my arm out with my $10 bill. I say, hey, would you like a free $10 bill? That was the pitch. Now, I didn't look like a bum. I was dressed normal. I looked like a normal white guy because, let's just be honest, I am a normal white guy. Okay, normal white guy, extending my arm. Hey, would you like a free $10 bill? Oh, man, that was a day full of rejection, Matt. Long story short, the answer was 6 out of 100 people took my $10 bill. I had a lot of people pause and almost take it. And then I had a few people ask, what's the catch? And I would say, there's no catch. I'm just giving away $10 bills. That was my response because that was the most common.
That would have been my response. Yeah. What's the catch?
What's the catch?
What are you roping me
catch,
into here?
I'm just giving away $10 bills. Still no. No. So I did this experiment to prove that sometimes our marketing messages fall into what we call the realm of rejection. Now, why didn't people take my $10 bill? Because, long story short, people did not know, like, or trust me. Mm-hmm. I was out of place. I wasn't meant to be there on the Las Vegas Strip giving away $10 bills. In contrast, the M&M store on the Las Vegas Strip, they have guys in these get-ups, and they're giving away coupons, and so they're dressed up like an M&M. Sorry, that's a fun. They were dressed like an M&M. Yeah. And they were.
We get it. We translated that. We got it.
We got it. They were giving away coupons. I ask, like, I go up to the guy after I've gotten like 30 rejections in a row. I'm like, how hard is it for you to give away your coupons? And he's like, oh, this is the easiest thing to give away. So then I like observed him from a distance to see how many people took coupons from him. And for the like people were just taking them left and right. I would say at least 25% of people when offered the coupon would take the coupon, which was way bigger than my 6%, 6 out of 100, giving away $10 bills. They're not giving away a coupon, a discount. I'm giving away actual money. So the point is, the M&M guys were meant to be there. There's the M&M store. There's M&M World.
Yeah.
And so there people know, liked, and trust M&M and the brand since from back when they were a child. They've been eating M&Ms their whole life. But they've never seen this white guy giving away $10 bills. So I was out of place. I lacked social proof. People did not know, like, or trust me. Now, if I would have had an official booth set up that says, hey, we're really giving away $10 bills, and if I would have had a lined form, then I would have had social proof and people would have started to know, like, and trust me. But I did not get to that point with my marketing message. I lacked trust. People did not know, like, or trust me. And as a result, only 6 out of 100 people took my $10 bill.
That is a great experiment. that really drives the message home.
That was one of my favorite experiments that I ever did. And my brother was blown away. He was like, Daniel, you were right and I was wrong. And that was like one of the few times my brother-in-law Jared admitted that I was so right when he was so wrong, and it felt good.
He likes to,
because we argue stupid things all the time. If you have brothers, you know what I'm talking about.
Yep. I have a brother-in-law. Yeah. This is know, like, and trust. Oh my gosh! I mean, there's so many businesses that are built on that, right? And you mentioned social proof. Having the ability to communicate for others to speak for you, and whether that's textually or in video or in person. I get a lot of referrals and stuff, and I don't even have to. I don't have to sell anything.
Yeah.
When I get a referral, it's just, when can we get on a call? That's the next step. And that's really, and how much of that ties into like brand and how you just show up, like wherever you're showing up. We're talking probably mostly about the web here, like your website, social media. How does that all play a role in building that trust?
Well, we want to build out that full, marketing flywheel, right? If we're missing part of it, then we hurt our conversion rates overall. So it could be that and we've actually seen this because we have over 20,000 students and clients with our X Factor Effect methodology. We've seen people swap out their logo for lack of a better terms, a much better logo, and start to see close to a doubling of their conversion rate because of a better logo. And now we're talking about it's 2024 and they're still dealing with a logo that looks like it was made in the 80s.
Right.
And then they switch to something much more appealing for their dream customers in 2024, and boom, like they're selling like a lot more. And now, generally speaking, when it comes to doubling or tripling our sales, it's going to be the aggregate of all these differences that come together. So if I improve my social media presence, when people do go to my social media pages, they say, oh, look, I saw an ad, then I went to your social media page, I saw that you're actually who you say you are, and now I'm going to go back and buy. And so that piece of the marketing flywheel, if I'm missing that, then I will miss part of my sales. But if I do it all, if I'm starting to build a tribe around my brand, if I have really good branding, if within my marketing and my message, I'm sharing the real values of my business, and I'm resonating with my dream customer, like all of that, it's going to add together. And that's why inside of the book we talk about the 7 elements. And when you can hit all 7, usually
you're good to go. Yeah.
Game over and you've won.
Yeah.
Right?
I got a story brewing.
Love it.
I'll share this, maybe one of my last stories for this podcast. But so you're talking about having your presence out there, and like you're going to have a website, and certainly how that website presents itself. That's why we're in business, like to help people improve the looks and usability of their websites, and sometimes that's getting a little bit better of a logo too. But it's also that footprint online, like where you are. You're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and it's going to be a little bit different what that looks like for everybody, right? But for me, I remember this particular story that stands out from a few years ago. I have a client he's been my client for like 3 years. We got a RSA with him, but I remember getting on a call with him and him being like, Matt, you're famous. I'm like, I'm famous? I don't know about that. He's like, but you're everywhere. I said, I am everywhere. And what he had done, though, how the deal how it was helped along and to close that deal, it was a referral actually from another developer that I knew, and he referred this client to us.
But he still did his research. He still had to see if Matt was the legit and the real deal and is out there, and so he found, my different properties and like, okay, this guy's established, and maybe I can trust him. But that's really important.
Yeah.
It's super important. Yeah. And so to have the consistency, be out there generating content or having a good footprint out there, I think is really, really good. So good lessons. So we could talk all day about this stuff. I have a feeling that you could be a repeat guest. I feel like you could come back. We could dig into all kinds of things. But where I kind of want to land is like, so what do you do? So you said you have 20,000 students?
Yeah.
Like the X Factor situation, like what is that all about? And what do you do specifically for others? And besides print awesome, write awesome books.
Awesome books with awesome box experiences. That's all.
Oh yeah, by the way, everybody. Yeah. He's I got a whole box of stuff. It's very interactive. It is the craziest. And can I give away the secret?
Sure. Yeah. Let's go. Yeah. There you go.
This is worth it by itself.
Mug.
I'm always looking for a good cup.
Yeah, the Rainmaker mug.
Yes. Anyway, back to you.
Yeah. So the reason why we have over 20,000 students and clients is because we've practiced what we preached starting down in Brazil, and we across all of our social media channels in Portuguese. We attained over 2 million followers. We sold tons of courses, got tons of people to come to our events, got lots of people into our mentoring groups and mastermind groups. Now, when I started working with Pedro 12 years ago, our plan was to make a big splash in a blue ocean that we call Brazil, and we did it. And then eventually we were going to take our methodologies worldwide and help more and more people. Now, I ran into the problem of the English-speaking market is the bloodiest, red ocean ever. So how do I break through the noise? Well, at the end of the day, it was just going back and practicing what we preached. And so the X factor of the book, and this is our splash in the English-speaking market. I was going to launch Ideas That Influence just as a free plus shipping book, okay? But quick history lesson, Russell Brunson, it was in 2015 that he launched .com Secrets as a free plus shipping book, and he sold just massive amounts of copies of books. So in 2015, it was like a USP, like a real difference. Like nobody was doing it, except that they had cracked the code, and it was it was amazing for them. And there were a few other people doing it, but they were like one of the firsts. And then, year after year after year, more and more people started doing free plus shipping books. So now, just having a free plus shipping book is not a differentiator. And so I said, okay, what if I do something crazy, unique, that has an X factor, and I created this interactive book box experience. And so it's the book plus the box, and it comes with 5 experience envelopes that you open, and you get access to gifts and tools at certain moments during the book. And it also comes with, of course, the Rainmaker mug, which... Now, I went forward off of faith, based off of everything that we were teaching, that this is something that would break through the noise. And I was right, because when it comes to marketing, you can't break the marketing principles don't go away. Tactics change every single day. So, the transition from so many people advertising on Facebook and Instagram, and now more and more people are using TikTok. That's a tactical change. Conceptually, the principle is what? The principle is go where your customers are. So if part of your customers are hanging out on TikTok, you're going to start selling like crazy on TikTok, as well as if you're advertising wherever else your customers are at. LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is. So the principles don't change. And so the reason why we have started to break through the noise and get out so many books with ideas that influence is because we're following proven marketing principles. Now, we recently launched this, and people are absolutely loving it. And the biggest splash for us has been that out of the first buyers, 1 out of every 3 people have been posting about it on social media in some way, shape, or form, which is just absolutely incredible in 2024. Love to have 1 out of every 3 people to do that. So for the English-speaking market, this is our way of, introducing ourselves and introducing our concepts, and then we're going to start doing like our X Factor strategy group and all that. But yeah, this is our big thing to break through the noise right now in 2024.
So the best entrance into your world would be through this book, or do you have some other kind of experience out there that?
Yeah, this is. I mean, this was a labor of love. People say that like just saying it, but like literally, like it took me a whole extra year. I wrote the book, I finished the book, and then took a whole extra year to put together the box experience. So, not just saying it to say it, actually a labor of love. And just really meticulously thought everything out with the experience, and that's the best way to get involved with everything that we're doing. If you want to grab one for free, you go to bigideasbox.com. bigideasbox.com.
bigideasbox.com.
Oh, you just pay shipping and handling. Free plus shipping, sorry.
You weren't picking that up?
No, you pay the shipping.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. No, it's a great book, and I definitely recommend it. And yeah, I enjoyed reading it. I want to go back and read some of those stories again, because there's just you read it the first time, you're just kind of flying through it, and like, oh, that actually was really unique. But I love also that you're doing what you preach. You're doing something like this to really set yourself apart. You understand it. I also think there's so many more stories you have. Like I'm always curious about other business owners, entrepreneurs, their experiences. Like you mentioned Brazil kind of offhand. I'm like, Brazil's a whole thing. Yeah. That sounds like a whole episode. So maybe next time.
Yeah. Brazil is so many different lessons there to be the gringo that speaks Portuguese and the only gringo that's teaching marketing to Brazilians. And
I just feel like that was a whole big part of your story that we completely glossed over. So we need to figure that out. Anyway, well, thanks again for joining us, Daniel. It's been a real pleasure. Your stuff is amazing. Good lessons here, good stories. Until next time.
Thank you, Matt. You're amazing.
That's all for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed that. Again, please subscribe if you haven't already, and give us a thumbs up if we deserve it. Now a word from our sponsor, my agency, Unified Web Design. We build custom websites, features, we maintain websites, we work with agencies to fulfill their web design and development needs, and more. If you're interested in our services or are looking for an agency to work with as a partner to build awesome sites for your clients, feel free to reach out to me at unifiedwebdesign.com. There's a handy contact me link at the top. Fill out that form and it will open a ticket, and that ticket will find its way to me. Thanks for joining me today. We'll see you next time.